Okay, hello everyone, it's Renee out here, back again today and doing a really short video on one of the probably the biggest questions that exist when it comes to having a home-based business, which is why do the majority of the people actually not succeed in home-based businesses, network marketing, or MLM, whatever you want to call it. And so let me start by saying this though. The reason why most people don't fail, and I'm referring to the people that actually are trying. So we're not talking about the people who kind of get started because they're thinking that they want to try the products. We're not talking about the customers. We're not talking about the people who, treated it like a lottery system, like a big lottery ticket that they might get in and get wealthy. I'm talking about the people who are actually trying to do the business, or they're actually trying to make an effort in promoting their business and selling their products. So I'm not referring again to the people who treated it like a big lottery ticket and trying to get rich quick, because that never works. We're talking about the people that actually gave it a decent effort, a decent try to go and make some money in network marketing. And so here is the most simplest answer, and I'll explain though in a lot of detail why this is. In my 20 years of experience of being in direct sales, I find that the biggest reason why most people don't succeed in network marketing is because the product pricing is too expensive. The product pricing is too expensive, and what they're trying to sell is too hard to sell because it's just too expensive. Now, again, let me start by saying a few things here. So when it comes to network marketing and home-based businesses, one thing that I realized as well is that the majority of the people who are going to be getting started with you are typically going to be the people that have sort of middle income levels to low incomes, so low to middle incomes. Like for example, myself, I was working as a programmer. I was making about $80,000 a year salary. Of course, after taxes in Canada, it's not a lot of money left. So even though I was making $80,000 a year as a programmer over 11 years ago, I was still looking at having extra income. The people who are really wealthy, I'm talking about like the top 5%, they're already really wealthy. They might be your customers when it comes to what you're selling, what you're doing, but are they going to go and do your business? It depends. I mean, most likely not, but you will get a few that, maybe treat it as an extra hobby. They enjoy the products, they want to share it. But again, typically they'll be your customers because they're really busy doing their own businesses. So majority of the people who are going to be getting started with you are going to be the middle income people and the little income people. And so if the product is too expensive, and let's try to classify what I mean by being expensive. Typically, I find that we have to look at this as a monthly expenditure. So what are you spending per month, or what are your clients spending per month to buy the products? And so, because it's not really based upon how much does one thing cost, because again, we're looking at how much does that person have to buy per month to buy their product. Again, it could be a variety of things. Majority of the opportunities out there are selling health and wellness. There's some travel-based companies, there's some financial services company, but let's look at what is the average expenditure per month. And so I find that if the average expenditure per month for that person to have their products or their service on a monthly basis, if it typically exceeds $100, and I'm not even talking about the members pricing, I'm talking about the retail pricing, $100, then it gets hard to sell. So for example, I'll use my own example. When I was in my first company promoting health and wellness, I was about 21 years old back then, and I had got started in one of my very first network marketing companies. And the product that I was promoting and selling was a great product. And again, I'll say this for once. I don't believe that the issue in network marketing is a lack of having good products. There's a lot of great products out there. I think that the issue in network marketing, again, is the products are too expensive. So back in that company, I was about 20 whatever years old, and the product I was trying to sell per month was at the wholesale cost. I'm not talking about the retail pricing. The wholesale pricing was about $170. And this was like long time ago, right? So almost like 18 years ago or so. And so again, that was the cost I had to spend per month to have my own products to consume. And so that was the members pricing, $170. That meant that the retail pricing for that product was probably well over $200, right? So that in itself is the issue, because here I was about 20 years old, and of course, in all the trainings that we receive in our marketing, they always try to teach you, well, the first people you should go and talk to is your friends and family, because they're closest to you. You should have a good bond with them. If you have something good to share, you want to share with your family and friends first, right? So when I tried to share this product with majority of the people around me, number one, there's a big issue because the products were already too expensive. Even if the people that did give it a try, if the product didn't work within like 1, 2, 3 months maximum, because I was always, we always understand that sales regenerate every 90 days. So I was trying to go for that 90-day window, that give it a try for 90 days. So if it's not working, the product within 90 days and it's too expensive, what's going to happen is people are going to stop their auto ship, or they're going to basically stop buying from you, or just stop the business. And that in itself is the biggest issue. And don't forget, right, when it comes to, again, building large teams now, my experience has been always to follow that sort of 80-20 rule. And if you haven't heard of this before, in other words, of the people you're going to have in your team that you're building, I find that 80% of the people out there are usually going to be the people who are like your customers. They're not really here to go and, they have a wishful thinking that they can build a big income, but they're going to be your customers. They're going to be people that sort of, get into the business to get wholesale access pricing to the products, but they're not going to be like your hardcore leaders, right? And so you have 80% customers, and the 20% are going to be typically the people who are really driven. I wouldn't even say leaders, because of the 20%, maybe like, 1% maybe might become your full-fledged, like I'm talking about, die-hard leaders that are going to build you a massive business, right? So again, if the product pricing is too expensive, what happens here is that, think of it this way, right? If your products are that expensive, what it means for your customers is that they have a variety of options to choose from. So back in my first company, if I was paying $170 wholesale pricing, not even retail's $200 and above, and charging that to my clients, well, guess what? At that level, they have so many other places to choose from and to try from. They have so many options. So again, there's just so many health companies out there that are selling products at that price point, which means that, if your customer doesn't feel something in the first few months, or they get approached by another sales rep in another company who's promising, or, who's really promoting heavily their products, and then they see that your pricing and their pricing is either lower than yours or the same as yours, what's going to happen is most likely they're going to give it a try. And that's when you start to lose your customers. And it's kind of sad. That's why in direct sales, the retention rate is so low, because people just can't often keep their customers. I'm talking about majority of the customers. We understand that every company, you're going to have a few people, a few customers that just believe in the product. They're diehards, they'll be there for a long time. But majority of the people are going to go. So why this links back into why people fail is because if the 80% start to drop off, right, then the 20% which were your leaders, they were basically earning the income based upon the 80% of the people who are, producing the volume as customers. So if these drop, that means that their income drop, and eventually your leaders are going to go too. And that's when things kind of crash. And so I've seen so many companies where now they have a huge roar because I guess there's that hype and momentum, but over time, because there's too many choices, products are too expensive, people start dropping off, customers start changing companies, this whole thing collapses, right? So that's where, again, that is single-handedly the most biggest issue when it comes to network marketing, and why people don't actually succeed is because they can't sell the products at the retail pricing. And I've done this so many times. I've met so many people in other companies, and we're talking and just chit-chatting. And to prove my point, the one thing that I ask these people is I ask them, I've done this in front of rooms of people. I've done it in front of my own team as well. I would ask the question, how many of you here have been able to sell your product at the retail pricing. In my company, everyone's hands go up, right? Everyone's hands go up. And I feel like everyone's hands, because everyone, because if it's priced so well and the product works, it will sell. You will eventually sell one or two or very many, right? And the funny thing though is when I ask the same question to people in other companies, I find that, even the leaders I'm talking to, they're like, I've never actually sold a product at the retail price. They had to rely upon getting them to join as a wholesaler to get access to buying the products at the wholesale pricing to make it cheap enough for them to buy. But again, how many people are going to be good at doing recruiting in that sense, right? So again, so it just proves the point that the products are too expensive. And so the other key aspect as to why this is very important when it comes to building a large team is because, we're trying to target the masses here, right? We're trying, if you can have a product pricing and a system where the average person can succeed, you're going to have an amazing business. But if you're going to have a product and a system where only certain people can succeed, then it's going to fall apart over a few years. So what I find is that for the brand new person who just gets started with you, if they are able to sell products at the retail pricing, again, because it's affordable and it works, then for that brand new person who's the average person out there, it means a lot to them. It's a huge, feeling of success. A lot of people, it's like the proof that if they can sell one item at retail, they can sell 1 million items at retail. But again, I find that majority of the companies out there and the people in their companies, when I've asked them, have you ever sold your product at the retail pricing? The answer is no. The answer is no. And so again, just so important, because I would rather have a system and a product where all I need to target is the 80%. Target the 80%, which are your customers, because guess what? If the customers like the product, they will refer more customers who will buy it because it's affordable, right? But again, if you focus on this part, customer acquisition, getting many customers, and whether they're going to be retail customers or even people who want to buy it, who sort of get into the system to get at the wholesale pricing because it's even cheaper than cheap. So if this part is taken care of, guess what? The leaders who are also running and leading the 80%, it means that their income is going to be stable. And if their income is going to be stable, they're not going to go anywhere. And so, I hope that this really sort of drives some key points for you guys in understanding. I've looked at, God knows, so many companies. I even have a website where I've compared every company's, number one product pricing as well as their comp plan. And, sadly, in most companies, what's going to cost you per month to have your products. Again, I'm not saying the products aren't good. I'm just saying they're too expensive. And they're just, so in my looking around so many years here, and it's funny, every single person that comes to me when we're talking about the products, I always ask them, how much were you paying for a month's supply in your last company? And it's like 120 US, 150, 180, and that's not even including shipping as well too, right? And so, and the biggest challenge is this, right? So what I found was that a lot of people were paying a lot of money for their products. And here's the thing. Even for myself, when I was trying to get my previous company's products, because it's so good and we believe in it, we want to buy it for our families usually. I'm talking about your direct family, like your own blood family, right? So you might want to buy it for your spouse, your parents, maybe your children. And so if you're spending, let's say, like me, 180 per month, and I wanted to buy another one for my mom, one for my dad, one for my spouse, that's times 4. So suddenly, it really becomes really expensive. And so what I've seen happen though is when people look at the products that are in my company, they realize, my goodness, for what I used to pay for one person's supply for their products, with UNA, I can almost feed my entire family. And it's like a quick decision because, again, we have amazing products and they're priced so well. Tying back to one of the things I was saying earlier regarding, the people who are really motivated to do this business are going to be the low income and middle income families. Let me explain a bit more on this too. Let's say you eventually meet someone who has a low income, but they're really driven to want to change their life. They want to make it happen. They're going to do what it takes. They want to be that 1% for you. They're going to just work their butt off. But here's the thing. That person who has a low income, guess what? Most likely, his circle of friends are going to have roughly the same incomes. Because there's a little study that the 5 closest people to you, the average of their income is your income. Right? So again, I'm not saying everyone, you're going to have those who mix with the right crowds, but just saying in general, right? So if now we have this low income person who's really driven and he's going to do it and he finds the means, he finds a way to go and get started and to pay for his products monthly, even though it's really stretching his bill, but he's going to buy your products because he just has the right mindset or she has the right mindset. But now we have to expect for them to go and sell to their family and friends who also have the same income levels. That's another issue. They can't sell to their circle of friends. And that was my issue. Majority of the people that I was talking to, even though they had, pretty good incomes overall, but we're just young and we just sort of, we're still either in school, just graduated. Majority of the people I talked to didn't buy the products because it was too expensive. Like that itself is another issue. So, and again, just remember this golden thought here, which is majority of the people out there will find it tougher to recruit, but easier to sell products. Because recruiting takes some skill, right? Let's be honest here. It's not sugarcoat stuff, right? But selling products is a lot easier. So if the products are too expensive, and the only way for them to get someone to join is to recruit them to become a member by wholesale pricing, and you already have the issue there, right? So again, however, if it's the reverse, if the person can be really effective at selling the products, guess what? Here's the thing. If the product can sell and the customers are buying the products and the products are good, 3 things will happen. So this is to summarize my whole point here. If the products can sell and you don't have to count on the new person to be really good at recruiting, because that's a whole different kind of thing. 3 things will happen if the products are affordable and can sell. Number 1, the person who bought the product, okay, the person who eventually bought that product from your sales rep or from you, 1, they will come back and basically they will buy it at the retail price from the person who sold it to them, which is great. It means someone made some decent commission. It could be $20, $30, but for the brand new person who's maybe the first time in the business, for them to make $20, $30 and to actually sell something, it's not even about the money, it's that feeling that they had success that's really important for them to shift from the 80% to the 20%. Okay, so either the customer will buy at the retail price, or number 2, that person decides to essentially, join the business or start their own business and get it at the wholesale price. Join it and get it at the wholesale price. Which is great, because in other words, what happened here is that the person who was going to buy it, who wants the products, because either it was really affordable and they wanted to buy it right away to try it out, or they thought, you know what, it makes more sense for me to get started anyways and get the wholesale price, it's even cheaper. But now what we've done here is we started with the focus at number 1. The focus was not number 2. The focus was selling it at the retail pricing. So what we've done here is we were successful at starting with a product, selling it at retail, and that person who's brand new that was always found it tough at recruiting has successfully been able to bring in a new partner, because that person decided that it's a good product, it's really affordable, it's even more affordable if I get started. So again, that helps itself as well too. Or number 3, again, but these people here, they just want to maybe get in and just buy the products, right? The third kind are the ones who join the system. They want the wholesale pricing, and they want to help you build a team. They want to become a leader. But what I'm saying is, these 3 scenarios, they all should have started from someone trying to sell the product at the retail price. It should have started there, because that way any scenario that comes after that is going to be a income scenario. They're going to sell it at retail, make some money, or that person launches into their own business, which of course there's always some bonuses there and some more commissions. Or better yet, they get started in, get wholesale pricing, they're going to build you a team, and that's even better. But it all should always start from the person just trying to sell the products. A lot of people have it backwards. They have it oftentimes backwards. What they're trying to do is they're trying to start from number 3. And the reason why they're starting from number 3 is because they already know that the products are so expensive, they're not going to go and do number 1. They know that's not an option. So the only way to have them get started is to really to join. But again, the majority of the people out there are not good at recruiting. The natural way, the more natural way to do this is to start by sharing about the products and sharing about how affordable it is, and that will lead. It's a natural lead-in to one of 3 scenarios, and we don't care which one that person picks, because either scenario, it's good for us. Either scenario, they fall into this 80%, which eventually will feed your 20% of the leaders out there. That is the proper way to do network marketing. It's not to try to recruit everyone under the sun, because we already know that not everyone's going to become a huge builder. But if you target the 80% customer acquisition, and the products are effective, and the products are very affordable, it will be a natural building of a very large organization. And that's why I've been in the same company now for almost 11 years. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just wanted to do this topic because I feel bad for the people who are out there who, go to their seminars and their conferences, and they get so revved up because they really believe in their products. Unfortunately, you can believe in your product, but if you can't sell it, or the majority can't sell it, or the low-income guys can't sell it, it doesn't really matter if your goal is to build a long-term business with residual income. So that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. For more videos like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Renee Lau signing out. Thanks so much and have a great day.